I'm doing remote recording. Okay, so this is the Line 6 electric guitar, which imitates about 24 different guitars. When you first plug it into a regular guitar amp, it could be a little disappointing, and you can almost flip around to all of them and say they all kind of sound too much the same. There isn't much going on. But I found out what the trick was for me was if you know one of the instruments really well, like if you really know the Les Paul, or if you really know a Stratocaster, just EQ your amp when you plug this thing in the store or at home or at school if you try one out, and make that particular model sound like you know the way it's supposed to sound. And if you do that, then it's like all the rest of them take care of themselves. Then the amp is sort of set right. So they've got a couple of different models of the Telecaster. And every one of these selector switches either a different combination of pickups or a different model of the Stratocaster. I mean the Telecaster. Then they got the Strat. And that really sounds pretty Strat-like. Especially when you get into putting some of those pickups out of phase and stuff. That goes through with Les Pauls. It's got this, what they call the double cutaways. They have the whole bunch of Gretches. It's got a whole bunch of Rickenbackers, 6 strings and 12 strings. Those kinds of things. And it's got the semi-hollow, like the Epiphone type of things. It's got jazz boxes. It's supposed to have acoustics, which is really strange. That's the only thing that's sort of seriously like not always sounding like an acoustic. But that's what I liked about the Godon. It's an electric guitar, it's got the Pizier pickup, it's got the controls for the acoustic sound, and that acoustic guitar in that Godon actually sounds like an acoustic even through a guitar amp. That is really something else. Then they have resonator type things. They've got a banjo in here, and they've got a sitar and a couple of things. But you can override all of those, and that's the fun part. They've got 2 custom banks back here. You see, even just to change these sounds, all I'm doing is like changing a volume knob that's got different stops on it. And within my custom banks, and all of the sounds that I don't particularly need, because I have, that's the funniest thing. They came out with this. I never even thought a guitar company could actually imitate different guitars. I'm buying the semi-hollows and the solid bodies and the different things and the different pickups, and I need the P90s, and I want the lipsticks, and I want the blah, blah, blah. All these different pickups, all these different guitars, and all these different feels and sounds and timbres. Need a banjo, need a mandolin, need a ukulele. Well, anything that's got strings on it, I can coax music out of, And all of a sudden, Line 6 comes up with this. And I'm looking around my house at all these instruments going, oh my God. It's like I spent a fortune, and they do it in a $300. This is $300. And even if you buy the fancier guitar, it's just fancier woods and a nicer neck. But it's still the same Sony guts. It's still the same Line 6 stuff. So, for recording, I'd rather have the real instruments, no question. I want to use my nice mics and my preamps, and I want to... You just play the different instruments, because when you pick up a telly versus you pick up a jazz box versus you pick up a banjo, you feel different and you play differently when you respond differently. I'm sure it's the same if you sit down to a Fender Rhodes versus an organ versus a nice, grand. So you come up with different ideas. But as a performer, I don't know about all you guitarists out there, but I write in lots of different crazy tunings. And I'm finding it, as I get older and older and writing more and more songs, more and more insane to keep track of what the heck I wrote and what I've done. Because you can write out a lead sheet, no problem, notate what you know and what the chords actually are, what you'd give your bass player, what you'd give your keyboard player. But those lead sheets don't help you. You need to know the crazy voicing you came up with, and you need to write down the tuning to remember what it was. And if you perform, like I used to go do shows, I'd come up with 7 or 8 guitars. And I would purposefully write 5 or 6 new songs in every tuning that I would visit so that I could stay there live for a little while, throw a capo on, make it sound a little different, make them drone in different keys so that they don't sound like the same song for 45 minutes, But what this is doing is allowing me to store the tunings. And what they do is, I was going to bring my laptop and hook it all up and show you, but I didn't bring the right cable, so they can't do it. They have this software you can download for free off the Line 6 website. You use this Variax, well, this is the Variax, but this is a Variax Pod XT Live. And it becomes your interface for the computer. So you plug in this crazy cable, which really looks like an Ethernet cable inside this regular looking mic cable casing. Plugs into this pedal, and then a USB cable comes out and goes into your computer. You go online, and you download this software, and all of a sudden these things come up that give you incredible flexibility over the guitar. You can build your own guitar. You could do a virtual guitar. Let's see, I want a telly body with some P90 pickups, and I want to have the pickup on this angle. You can move the pickups, you can change the neck, you can make it acoustic, you can do whatever you want to it. And then they give you the neck. It's a picture of the neck, and it's got little dots, and you can move them anywhere you want, down to almost an octave below of where you're going, so that in half-step increments, do you know exactly how many increments or what the range is? Regardless, you can change them. You just plug in whatever note you want it to be. I want this to be a D, I want this to be a C, I want that to be an A, whatever it is. And then you keep it and decide which bank you're going to put it in. You hit save, and it's in there. So I can play any of my original tunes that are in different tunings back to back now without batting an eye. I don't have to tell a stupid story. And, well, the other day I was standing in line at the bank. And, I don't want junk that you have to and then my dog said, and you're just like, yeah, I don't care. I can, like the one song that I was playing earlier, this is down a whole step, an acoustic down a whole step. I don't want to do that at a show, and then let them, not recuperate. And by the time the intonation settles on jazz, I can just hop right to it. Now, if I was in standard tuning, that would be here. This is like magic, It's like I can get rid of and go around some not so great effects that sound like real cool pedals. I mean, they're compromised in here to do all this. They're onto something, but it's not as rich and as warm as like the Tone Lab that Vox makes that I really like, or you'd rather a real telly. Again, if I was making the record, I would tune there, play it on the telly, that kind of thing, whatever I'm doing. But to be able to just get around all these different tunings instantly is just hysterical. All of a sudden I'm there, This one, sometimes there's just a tune where your tuning changes just one string. That's fine too, but it still can throw your intonation off. All the strings are the same, standard, except for the B string. I have that one down to A, and I can just, that one tension just adds a nice little variety to that chord. And it's just a nice thing, it inspires me, I want to write it, and then I can just jump there and sing and play it. It's just so much fun. People are leaving, so is that getting close to 2? Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? I can keep you here for months playing original tunes, which you don't need to do, but it's really nice of you to come check it out. And I really recommend experimenting with them, because for live it's a godsend. It's a really fantastic technology, and it's only going to get better. So that's just, you know, it's even better now to be a musician today than it was yesterday. So.